Okay, so we finished the national scale examples. Now we're down to the individual scale. Most of the cases I choose are independent corporations. And here I like to choose my neighbor Thailand as one of the examples. The Chailai Orchid is a organization in Thailand, Chiang Mai. When we talk about Chiang Mai, you definitely think of elephants, yeah? Tourists always go there and ride on the elephants and taking pictures with them. But many people don't know that in Bangkok, in Thailand, elephants are mostly abused just to satisfy tourists' imagination. So many of the elephants means horrible condition of living status, illness condition not got healed. They even have to, the mothers have to live apart from their babies just because the mothers cannot left time for mothers to breed babies. All the horrible examples that caused the reason for Chailai Orchid to start. Chailai Orchid is, they do have a big hub to raise a lot of saved elephants from those abused parks. And they still take care of them, but in the meanwhile, they invite tourists to check out the elephants and spend time with them. They don't ride on them. They don't simply take photos of them, but they spend a whole day or even 3 days or longer to stay with elephants and to get to know them better. Elephant is such a beautiful animal that if you spend time with them and you realize they're so kind, so slow paced, so engaged with spiritual part, and suddenly you realize, hey, both of us are part of the nature. I mean, it's a true experience I had, and I found it amazing. They didn't boringly teaching you, okay, this is elephant's ear, so this is the ecosystem of elephants and their babies. No, they don't do it. They just simply left you and animals and teach you, okay, you touch the animal from this side, they feel comfortable. If you talk to elephant in this tone, they feel comfortable. And they just teach you how to make friends with them. This engagement is so precious that attracts so many tourists to there. But of course, they have the capacity control. So they won't let the elephant overwhelmed by tourists. What's more is that they built several eco lodge at their park. So as you see the left photo, it's an eco lodge built by bamboos and woods, and you stay in the lodge. The day after, if you would like, you can knock the service center and say, hey, I would like to have breakfast with elephant. So they will give you tons of bananas and like this 3 plates English style breakfast to feed the elephant and also to have your breakfast with them. Beautiful photos. Of course, on Instagram, it became another influence that I have a lot of Asians take wedding photos out there. But nevertheless, I think it's still a positive approach to sustain the better living condition and to raise awareness of natural protection to the tourists who are so far from this creature. Yeah. After they do this business, their income will go to the right side NGO called Growth Farming. This NGO also started from the owner. She said she found out, she's American by the way, she came from New York, and she just found out that locals, those indigenous people, they were so nice and innocent and happy people, but they need education. Otherwise, these kids are just going to stalk there. So without education, a lot of horrible things can happen to you. And therefore, all of her income, partly will go through this NGO to sustain this idea of local growing education. And if you go there, you'll find there's a lot of local employees growth-wise. And they are kids from the school, from the NGO school, and they started to learn English. And you're gonna be so amazed by the English they have, since even though they've never been to school. I mean, they've never had this like a proper English coaching school, and you'll be so amazed by how fluent they can interact with you just by all the experience and practice from this NGO to this eco lodge through this Chailai Orchid company. So individual number one, scale. And the next one is I find it an interesting case in Netherlands. The capital in Netherlands is called Amsterdam, right? In Amsterdam, a lot of canals. Tourists might go there, canals for, I don't know, like photo shootings, even though it's the canals in the city. Not so much to look up, but tourists do this because tourists are tourists. So, however, it's just the canals in the city, in the capital. We're overwhelmed by tourists. So you can imagine how many plastic bottles are there in the canal, right? With all the drunk people after having weed and alcohol. So it's just tons of trash in the river. So this company called Plastic Whale, they think of an idea that we're not going to like just clean the river by ourselves every single time. Let's invite more tourists to do this with us and let them talk, let them share this experience, and having more people doing this all together. So this on top you see this like eco-ever boat is exactly the project they started to invite tourists. You know, the tourists have to pay. It's not a volunteer job. You just have to like get on the board and they give you the bucket and take the. It's a competition, like so. There are two boats always, and you just compete who picked more trash than the other half. So it became a very good example for corporations to implement their CSR project or to encourage their employees to do some volunteering job, or for the schools to take their kids to get to know their city even more. One thing I have to stress here is you see there's a table, there are chairs as furniture. All of them, including the boat, are all built by recycled bottles. I mean the plastic bottles. So after you take all the recycled trash back to the owner say, you know what, it's fine, I love it. So I'll take all of them and through the recycle process, make them as something more valuable, such as furnitures and boats. So you can even order a customized products from them if you want to do, if you want to have anything like recycle doable from plastic. So this is Plastic Whale. We call it circular economy, which means they create a circle, right? They don't use like further energy or further materials or resources, but they created a economical sustaining circle to implement sustainability through tourism. All right, so okay, so next case would be one in Taiwan. Like here, my pleasure to present a case in Taiwan that is called Spring Pool Glass. A quick brief of this place, and then I will show you the video, and then I had a like actual impression. Spring Pool Glass, it's a factory. It's a glass factory, but they mainly do recycling glass, and they use this glass to manufacture or handmade more new products of glass. So once again it's a circular economy thing I just mentioned before of the boat and the plastic picking up from Netherlands. Yeah. The whole project started from the owner of Spring Pool, Mr. Wu. They used to do recycling glass only, so it's just a very like a harsh working space because it's full of trash and smell, and the glass is heavy, and in the old time there were no such a big need of recycled glass. and people didn't think of an idea that you could do from the recycled glass. However, in where the factory is called Hsinchu, they have this special chemical elements that can produce a lot of glass. So therefore, there are a lot of old masters. They have these good skills of making glass. Mr. Wu found it a pity that if he doesn't keep these old masters to all together, this special technique will just be missing. Therefore, he stopped not just doing recycling, but also started from this like manufacturalized glass factory. To the second generation, Mr. Wu's son, Mr. Little Wu, he found out, it's just a perfect example in circular economy. And through this idea, we can actually raise a better awareness for the younger generation. If through glass we produce more like young and chic, interesting products that made by glass, but also as a very good discussion in between environment and lifestyle. It would be a really amazing thing for everyone to dedicate in circular economy. So spring pool glass is a very successful example in Taiwan now whenever we talk about sustainability. This is a project they started from the crowdfunding that they just tell you the story I just said. And they make this glass to the glass straws. The straw that you have for drinking and for drinks. And Taiwan, we always have this bubble milk tea, yeah. So in summertime especially, everyone have one in hand. Some people will just have this hand drink every day, and that produces a lot of plastic straw and environmental damage. So spring pool glass, they focus on this thing that young people do this, so let's do something to replace this plastic thing. And here is the video. I think you might like it. All right, so the other case in Taiwan, let's go to the southeast of our island called Hentrin in Pingtung County. There's a very interesting example in Taiwan when we talk about sustainability. It's not only nature, but also a lot of social, society and community, and let's say human. In Taiwan, we had a very severe issue of population aging, especially in towns, in the countrysides. As we know, population always accumulated in the capitals, and this condition become more and more common in every country in the world. So does Taiwan. So the problem happened after the aging town is that there are so many interesting stories said by the locals, old mamas, old papas, but just got missing because no one recorded. Or in those stories, what's hidden out there is the ancient techniques, old wisdom, like this tradition thing, the roots of the culture. And they will all be gone if nobody recorded or revive it, right? And when we talk about sustainability, like I said before, sustainability have to concern the environment and the society, right? So if you want to have a good product in tourism, an exclusive, one-of-a-kind experience mostly comes from your culture. If you don't have culture, you probably hardly can imagine why it is, but just copy others. So no matter if you're a local, you have a big heart for the earth, or you're a businessman, you have a big heart for your business. It's just a reason that no one should avoid to to sustain, protect, and live with our culture. So, okay, say so many. Let's get back to this Henchun story. There are a group of people as a team from your left downside. You know, all of these kids, they are they graduate from their masters, but none of them are from this county. And they found this issue so important that they have to stay and do something for the locals. Therefore, they visit a lot of the local from different districts to districts, dig into their stories, make friends with them, spend time with them, become really good friends with them, and each of them just play a role in their life out there. And from those stories, they found out a lot of interesting that can be transformed, become an experience for the tourists. So as you see, there's a tea farm. It's just beneath the Pacific Ocean, which is a really rare example because most of the tea in Taiwan, they have to grow in the middle of the mountain, at least above like 600 meters at least. But here it's only 400 meters. So this tea is called Haikou cha. So this tea they contain like a very strong flavor because it just live up with ocean, right? So it's such a strong kind of species in tea that you only need to pour waters and stay like 9 seconds, no more than 10, because it can be so bitter. Very interesting exclusive product only owned in Pingdong, Henchun, this little town. The same story you can imagine. From the right side, you see the eggs. There are some like stories, of course, and with the carrots, you see what the mama is holding. It's all dried, sun-dried carrots, and these carrots, of course, it's not commonly to see in other countries. Then it become a very unique dish for the tourists. And right up there, it's a performance that's we call it like a national music called Yueqing. And it became a very unique performance. Tourists can only see when they visit Pingdong. And down there, it's a straws like from the rice farm. So it was just something that the farmers don't need, and then now become a hotspot for Instagrammers to take photos out there. So generally, that it's independent but positive, with a positive circle to run their business organizations in Taiwan. And the other case I'd like to share here is a case my team implemented last year in 2019, called Wish Festival. It comes from a very interesting story of environmental concern. But here I want to show you the video first because I'm not sure all of you know what Sky Lantern is. So let's check out this 1 minute video and talk about the story later on.